Hello everyone, and there is another video which describes the one of the basic market structure which is known as the perfect competition. So in this video I will focus on the features of the perfect competition, and there you will learn that how we can categorize a market as a perfectly competitive market when these features are present in that market. So before starting directly the features or the characteristics or the assumptions of this perfectly competitive market, I will begin this topic with an understanding of competition. What do we mean by competition? In the previous chapter, you have learned that how we can assess whether a firm earns profit, positive economic profit, or a firm is earning losses with regard to the short run and long run. And there you have learned that a firm is said to be profitable if the price of the product is greater than the average total cost of the firm. Whether it is working in the long run or short run. In the long run, of course, the situation is going to be different. All the firms earn normal profit, which means that total revenues are actually equals to the total cost, or we can say that in the long run all the profit, positive economic profit, is equals to zero, and the firm works at its break-even point. Okay, now in this chapter we are actually going to add in this analysis of profitability for a firm, the structure of the market. Every firm, of course, is going to work in some particular market structure. So what is basically the market structure? Market structure is based on the number of firms working in the same market. So if there are many firms who are actually producing the same type of good, then we can say that the competition is actually high in that market. So we can relate number of firms with the level of competition. When there are large number of firms working in the market or supplying the same type of good, then we can say that competition is high. On the other hand, when there are few firms which are providing or supplying the same type of good, then we can say that competition is low. And even sometimes there is an extreme case that only one firm is actually supplying the good or product, then in that case we can say that there is no competition, or competition level is equals to zero. Why? Because there is only one seller which is actually meeting all the demand for that good in the market. Okay, and for that you can consider the electricity suppliers. In every country there are one or two companies which are actually supplying electricity to the whole country. So in that case the competition is actually very low. Okay, so let us start with this understanding of competition. What do we mean by perfect competition? Why we have added this word perfect before this competition? To understand this type of market structure, let us first consider that what are the basic features of this market structure, because it will make easier to understand how a firm takes decisions under this type of market structure. So the first feature of this type of market structure is that all the firms are said to be perfectly competitive if they are selling the same standardized product. The same standardized product means that they are selling a product or a service which is totally identical among sellers, and buyers, they cannot differentiate the product or service which they can buy from one seller to the product or service they can buy from the other seller. They are totally indifferent with regard to the quality or the features of the product. You can take the example of this type of market structure by considering the vegetable market or apple market or fruit market for a particular variety of fruit. For example, apple, for a particular variety of apple, all the suppliers, they will supply the same type of apples. In the same way, you can also consider the rice market, the same variety. The rice market for same variety can be considered as working under the perfectly competitive market structure. In the same way, the vegetable market, where all the sellers they are actually supplying the same type of or identical good or vegetables for the same variety of a particular vegetable. So for example, for tomatoes, if for the same variety, all these suppliers or sellers in this vegetable market, they will sell the same type or kind of tomato. So basically this first feature is just explaining that all the sellers or all the farms they will supply identical type of good in the market. The next feature is also very important, this feature is actually related with the number of sellers and buyers. In this type of market structure, there are large number of buyers and sellers which are actually making a trade in this market. Okay, so when what is actually the implication of this large number of sellers and buyers present in this market? The implication is that each buyer or each seller is actually comprising a small fraction of total demand or total supply for that particular good in the market. So the individual decision of either supplier or buyer is not going to affect the price of the good. That's why we can say when there are large number of buyers and sellers present in the market, they are always considered as the price taker, means that the price of the product is not in their control. So for example, the individual action of a supplier by just reducing its supply from the market cannot cause an increase in the price or decrease in the price. On the other hand, if an individual buyer just decided not to purchase or buy a product, then his individual action cannot change the price or decrease the price or increase the price. Why? Because that individual buyer is just making a small fraction of the total demand for that good in the market. Another assumption, which is very important assumption, is related with the mobility of the productive resources. Means that productive resources, which can be in form of land, labor and capital, they are assumed to be mobile, completely mobile. What is the implication of this mobility? It means that the firm can easily switch from one business to another business, which is more profitable because of this mobility of the productive resources, because the resources are readily available and the firm can hire. So for example, if a farmer who is growing wheat thinks that it is more profitable to grow carrots, then he can easily shift its production from growing wheat to growing carrots, because the resources which are necessary to grow carrots are easily available, and he can easily use these or obtain these factors. And further we can say that for a firm to start a new business, the entry to the new market, it is totally free. There is no restriction on the entry. So a new firm can easily start a new business or can enter in a market. On the other hand, if a firm or already existing firm in a market is unhappy with the opportunities which it confronts in the market, then it is totally free for that firm to leave that market and to start another business. So basically the implication of this mobility of productive resources is free entry and free exit from the market, mean that there are no restrictions for new firms to start a business in a new market, and there is no restrictions on the existing firm to leave the market if they are unhappy. Another important assumption is that buyers and sellers, they are well informed about the market conditions. So buyers are said to be well informed about the market price. On the other hand, we can say, for example, if a seller tries to charge a higher price for the good, then the buyers, as they are well informed, so they will switch from that seller to the seller who is selling the same identical good but at a low price. So sellers, they cannot exploit buyers by charging a high price. On the other hand, sellers are also said to be well informed about the market condition. So if they find that they can if they find a business to be profitable, then they know that how can they use the available resources to produce that good which is profitable. In the next video, I will focus on demand and supply curve for a firm working under the perfect competition market structure. If you like this video, then don't forget to give a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. If you further wants to see videos on more economic topics, then you are welcome to comment in the comment section below the video.